Giant's Mouth and Hidden Grotto. And then both the cutscene skips.
You do one on Giant's Mouth?
Yeah, at the very beginning. At least with my strats.
That's slow.
No, okay, I don't do that one. It doesn't. Shouldn't matter
we
so
live?
much.
Yeah, it doesn't really save time,
why-
it just makes the level way easier. At
Alright.
least with my strats.
Why am I doing that? Slow.
Alright, you guys are live.
Alright.
Are we live?
Yes, yes we are. Count down when you're ready.
Oh,
Oh, wait,
why-
I don't have.
show
Can I
everybody
have?
into live? Hold on a second.
What up? False alarm. Okay, now we're ready.
Why am I doing it? Now ruining something.
I didn't have my. Oops, I did not have.
Yeah, good luck on run.
my
I'm out
timer.
of here now. Yes, we're live. I'm gonna throw everybody into live. Hold on a second.
Fair enough.
Yeah, good luck on run.
I
I'm
can
out
go ahead and count
of
it
here
down
now.
if you like.
Alright. Alright,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Alright, like I
We'll
said,
be going from 3
okay, I
and
got the
we'll
timer
start
now.
on go.
Count
So,
down when you are
3,
ready.
2, 1, go. All right, I can go ahead and count it down if you like. So this is Lightfall. This
Okay,
is
I'm ready.
a somewhat
I'll be
precision
going
from
platformer,
3, and you'll start
the
the
main
main
gimmick
gimmick of
so,
the game.
3,
is,
2,
that you're able to
1,
summon these
go.
blocks. You can use these blocks to either.
All right,
you can
so
use them to
this
double
is
jump, or you can
Lightfall.
use
This
them
is
as
a
punch
somewhat
weapon
precision
to interact with
platformer,
things.
where the main
You can
gimmick of
place
the
them into
game
switches,
is
that
you're
and
able
you
to
can
summon
kick
these
off of them.
blocks.
And you're going to see
You can use these blocks to
mostly a
either
variety
you can use them to
block
double
usage.
jump, you can use them as a punch weapon
Now,
to interact
there-
with things.
There are a
you
few
can
that
place
won't
them
see as
into
much
switches,
use,
and you can wall kick
it's
off
not
of
as
them.
fast
And you're going to
as this
see
one, but the one that will get the
mostly
most
a
use is the
variety
double
of block usage in the run. Now there there are a few that won't see as much use just because it's not as fast to use them, but the one that will get the most use is the double jump block.
Yeah, shoutouts to the interact block, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, okay. It looked like we had some audio issues, so I was giving it a minute. But yeah, so yeah, they're just going through the first level here, and it's going to look pretty standard here. So in 1-1, in the main game, this normally shows you some of the basic movement. So it teaches you how to sprint. It teaches you kind of how to use punch blocks and jump blocks and things like that. And so this is going to go by pretty quick. They're very familiar with the game. And 1-2 is going to be one of the first instances of an interesting trick. So in the second level, the game usually expects for you to just go through, you do a little bit of a climbing sequence, and then after that, it wants you to make your way back down through the level, and it shows you a few things. There are a few cutscenes that you can trigger that will tell some of the story. But they're basically going to skip a lot of that by going over the level. And so you'll see they're going up there on the right, a few well-placed blocks over the spikes, and then they're just going to go ahead and jump over that whole spike row at the top. And yeah, they'll be going over the level. So it takes you almost all the way to the end. It's a really convenient skip. And yeah, that's gonna about do it for 1-2. And yeah, that trick is not that easy to do. There's actually a few ways where you can kind of interact with the spikes in a less than desirable way on that climb. So, you know, it happens, but there's still plenty of race left. I want to say there are at least 2 major spots towards the end of the run that are largely considered some of the toughest parts of the game. And that can easily swing seconds, sometimes even minutes if it goes really poorly. So it is a run that is not devoid of danger. So the third level, the new mechanic that it tries to introduce is this boat. And there's a boat with a block on the end, and you can interact with it with a block, and it makes the boat go forward. We just skip it entirely. you can actually just place blocks over the water that the boat would cover and traverse it completely. So you can completely skip that mechanic. And once you're past that part, a few little spikes, some tight jumps, and you'll get to the end of the level, which is going to lead to our first boss fight. So the first level boss is named Animus. Kind of looks like a water dragon. And real quick, you're going to see that Yote and Dedew will both be going for a cutscene or a checkpoint reset here. So what that's going to do, they make sure, one, they don't want to touch that platform, because as soon as they touch that platform, it starts the cutscene that pulls them down into the boss fight. But if they do a checkpoint reset there, what happens is it always spawns the wave with the same pattern. So it's based upon whenever that checkpoint starts again. So they do that to make sure that they can manipulate it so that they can go right behind it, and they don't really have to wait on the wave or throw in any additional delays. They can just book it on through there. So after a few platforming sections, you just hop up there, bop the crystal, and that's Act 1. So Act 2 is Act 2 is widely considered probably one of the more annoying levels. And this is typically because it's not necessarily a difficult level. There are just a lot of parts of it that are uncomfortable to do at times. So it makes for an interesting level. It introduces a lot of mechanics with the slimes. You'll see another one in the next level. I'll bring it up. There's a new enemy that is people are very fond of when they run this game. So they're gonna have no problem dodging these slimes here. And when they come up to the middle part of this level, they're actually going to angle up there and go through a secret passage that is normally there for you to pick up a collectible. But it turns out that the secret passage is actually faster than the route below that isn't hidden by a secret door. So they just go ahead and take that. And as you'll see, normally the game wants you to use these platforms and go up past the lasers using your block to block the lasers. But one thing you can do is you can put a block out in front of you, turn around, and keep the block out. And what it does is it just follows behind you. So you can just run up the wall, and this block is behind you, protecting you. And it's way faster than going up the platforms. So it looks like Yote is going for the third laser skip. Just to let you know, this is a very hard trick. So it is not unexpected that it results in some deaths. It's one of those strats, nicely done. It's one of those strats that people don't go for typically in runs because it is very difficult to get consistent. But it's a cool looking strat, so awesome that he went for it. And yeah, so it looks like we're about even right now. They're both in 2-2. They're showing you the introduction to the bees already. The bees are probably the the enemy that most people are fondest of. So these bees, you see the larger bee there, and the thing that makes it a little difficult is that they spawn smaller bees, and these smaller bees like to chase after you. Well, the position that they spawn the smaller bees in is mostly RNG. So it makes it very difficult sometimes when you come up on a certain section of the game and you have to contend with these bees. You can't always plan out a clear path ahead. You sometimes have to adjust. And you're going to see that right after this fall that Dedew is going for. He's going to climb up the blocks here, and then he's going to be facing a few bees after this checkpoint. And they may or may not give him something that's a little tricky. And that, again, that is normal. So don't be surprised by that. This happens more often than you think. This is why people are not crazy about Act 2. So, but it is a it's very even right now. Like, this is a really good race. So they're making their way up. This is a long climbing section. And then just after this is going to be the end of the level. And just for a little background, both of these players are very experienced in the game. It's just the nature of the game that sometimes you have to deal with some difficult stuff. But these are the top 2 people on the leaderboard. They are both very skilled players. So I knew even before I got here that this was going to be a pretty entertaining race. So yeah, this is the 3rd act, or this is Act 2, 3rd level. And so, as is typical with the 3rd levels, we are going to be running into a boss fight. This boss fight is not so much a platforming one as it will be just like there's some platforming involved, but you do have to hit a sequence of crystals in order to be able to beat the boss. So they're going to make their way through the level, trying to dodge all of these slime shots coming at them. One of the things you'll see there, I mentioned a block earlier that could activate switches. One of the things they do is they use the block that can activate switches as close as they can to the actual switch. So what they'll do is they'll glide through the air, activate the block right under the switch, and then they don't have to move it. So normally when you place that block, you have to move it around with your stick, and then you press the button when you're done. They don't have to do that. They just summon it, and it's immediately placed, and it loses no time. So it's just a really nice thing to see. So yeah, they're just gonna finish up these climbs here, trying to not get chomped by the guys, and yeah. So
you mind if I just come in just real quick?
Sure.
So I just want to let everyone know that currently we have $0 on for the Darkest Dungeon bid war. So if there's a certain specific boss that you'd like to see, right now it's currently Brigand, Flesh, and Crew. Nice said that first one correctly. But if there's one you'd like to see over the other, you can do it. Currently, no one is winning, so you can donate towards that. And also, like I said, we got 76, if I'm thinking correctly, $77 away from the 500 goal. So if you can't, like I said, if you can get those donations in, it really helps out. I'll shut up and get back to the run.
Oh no, that's awesome. I'm all about supporting a good cause. So please, yeah, if you're watching and you find some of those incentives good, or you really just like helping out homeless animals, definitely donate. I mean, it is a good cause. So yeah, so they're both in the middle of the boss fight here. They're nabbing some crystals here, and it's a little bit of a slow fight, just because like you gotta wait for the crystals to show up. They're on about a 20 to 30 second timer. I want to say 20 is probably right. And a lot of times you just gotta wait. You gotta find platforms to wait on, and then the crystal shows up, and then you hit it. You got to do that 4 times in a row. The boss is done. So you're gonna see here they're getting ready to start Act 3. So in 3-1, they'll go for a immediate reset there at the checkpoint, and the reason why they do that is to try to seed some RNG, or seed the pattern for later, where they can get through a certain sequence the same way every time. So hopefully we'll get to see that, but they're just going to make their way through. This is probably one of my favorite levels. Visually, it's just very enjoyable. The music itself is very calming. I just really like it. Like this is the level that as someone who runs the game, like I love practicing this level because it's just very pleasing. So there's a lot of neat nuances. The spinning spike platforms, the hidden passages. You'll see a different variety of spikes coming up that you already saw earlier in the level. And of course, these crystals that flip over switches there, or platforms there. And that part where you jump over the spikes there after doing 4 full blocks across the top, that is a lot harder than it looks. So that was well done clearing that gap. And he's going to play it. Yote's going to play it a little careful there. on the spinning spikes. That is tricky. That was the pattern that you were trying to line up where you could just get on through.
Yeah,
well, that was one of them.
There. I didn't get it.
Yeah, it's all right. And yeah, so he gets under the birds there. That is also another tricky part. There's a lot of tricks here to basically get A to B as quickly as you can, but there are a couple of tight spots that you have to make it through in order to navigate that. So he's headed up to the top of the level, and you're going to see there he's going above the level for the game's current only out of bounds trick. So there are actually platforms up there that you can run on, and there are spikes, so you got to watch out. But there are 2 platforms that he's going to run on. He's going to reset his blocks in between on the second one, put some blocks down to get across, and that's the end of the level. So, yep, and you'll see Dedew went for that same high skip there in 3-1. So that's also well done there. And just making his way on through. Yote will be starting the Sylveon level. So in typical third level fashion, Sylveon is Act 3's boss level. And the key thing for Sylveon is you have 5 chambers around this giant room. So each of these chambers have a collectible that you have to pick up to progress. It's the only mandatory one in the game that I can think of. So he's going to run over there and grab this little crystal, and he's going to bring that along with him, and he has to return all 5. But what you're going to see him do is he's going to collect this, and he's going to hold on to it through the entire level. And that's just because you have to return all 5 of these to the middle of the level, but you don't have to return them as you get them. So he's going to save time with having to go back to the middle by getting all 5 of them at once, and then just bring them all back. So this second one, this second part is going to be the lasers. Oh, that was tight. So the laser chamber is one that it's pretty helpful that we go for it second out of the 5 chambers, and that's just because there is a lot of danger with the lasers. So you kind of have to make sure that you make your patterns work out well to where you get in between them and can avoid them. But that's all looking good from there. Yep, and it looks like Dedew is successfully out of bounds and over the level.
And yeah, talking about that out of bounds, I want to say that like we're not clipping through any wall or any boundary or anything. Like we're not using any glitch. We're just going above the level. Like it's not intended, but we're like not using any glitch.
Yeah, no, it's exactly. Yeah, I can definitely clarify that some. So the out of bounds is more a sense of out of visual bounds. It's outside of what you can see based upon what the level shows you. You're not like making it past any solid surfaces or anything. So it's out of bounds just in the sense of it's not expected. It is not comparable to an out of bounds in like a Zelda game, for instance. Yeah, no, there are actually, we've been looking for a while. There are no actual clips that we know of. Oh, nice. Hold on.
Yeah, I just
so
wanted to clarify that random guitar solo in there.
Oh, nice. Yeah, so Yote's finishing up Sylveon here with the riddle. One thing to note is when you play through the game casually and you do the story mode, that riddle is going to give you a series of messages on the screen, and you're supposed to match up the symbols, but they're in a random order. For the speedrun, they're always in a set order, and that order is always 2nd, 5th, 1st, 3rd, and 4th. Everybody memorizes it. It's one of the first pieces of just speedrun knowledge that you pick up while playing the game. So that's another nice thing that came with one of the game's updates. One of the first updates was improving the last boss fight, a bunch of fixes just to kind of balance things out. and also just some things in speedrun mode that made the RNG a little nicer for runners. So if you are looking to pick up the game, it is definitely a fun game to play. Definitely a good game to pick up, and it's short. I mean, it's 30 minutes optimized easily. So so yeah, definitely check it out. But yeah, going visually out of bounds is not out of bounds. That's correct. But yeah, so this is the end of Act 4's first level. And yeah, so the second level, you're going to see another checkpoint reset there. This is to set up, again, just setting up some favorable patterns in the level. And we see Dedew is finishing up Sylveon here. This part, I apologize for the flashing lights. But this part is meant to complicate your platforming by making it harder for you to see. We're a huge fan of that because seeing is only marginally important in speedrunning. So yeah, so finishing that up, and with 4-2 here, you'll notice that there's some fog here on the screen. So you can tell whenever the fog is up, they're not using their blocks, and there's just like a bunch of dodging and jumping. And the reason for that is because whenever the screen gets foggy like that, you're inside this fog that is negating your ability to place blocks. And so that kind of adds an additional challenge in some areas. And specifically in this level that you see Yote starting now in core, you're going to start to see on the right side, you're going to see a climbing section where he has to navigate up a very tall climb with no powers. He basically just has to rebound off of these blocks. And it tends to be a little bit difficult of a climb. It used to be a lot more difficult before they took out some of the fog in some of the sections. So it's more bearable now, but it's still something to contend with. And he did just punch one of the radars there. One of the nice things is whenever those activate, they spawn a fog. But if you hit them first before they catch you, you'll knock them out of commission, and you can just avoid that altogether. So that's a nice thing.
If I just jump in real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, so we got $5 from. I'm probably gonna butcher this. Myrene. Mirne, thank you. Like I said, I am terrible with names. But they've donated $5 for the animals, and I asked them where they want the money. They said it's commentator's choice. So if you can you can check out the incentives and tell me where you'd like those $5 to go.
Yeah, I can definitely do that.
All right, go back to the run.
Cool. So, yep. So you're seeing there, Yote is knocking out those machines at the end of each of these spots. So this is core. This is Act 4's boss level, and it has 3 corners, kind of like Sylveon's 5. And you knock out these machines in each of the 3 corners. Well, in the first corner, you skipped getting the checkpoint in the middle entirely because the game's going to take you back to it after you beat the first one. So you just kind of run up there and knock out the first one. For the second one, one thing you probably noticed is that he went ahead and probably did a checkpoint reset. And the reason why is because once the explosion animation starts, if you do a checkpoint reset, it goes ahead and finishes up clearing up the crystal without having to keep you there. So it's a little faster if you do the checkpoint reset. Doing a few spike jumps there, those are fun. Those are fairly pixel precise to get on the edge of the block there. And that finishes it up. That was the third one. So this is going to be the new, I say new, it's about 6 months old. But the new final boss level. And originally the final boss was, you get to this room, you're lowered down on an elevator, it looks very dramatic and imposing, and you see this boss and he gives you this dialogue. And then you fight him. The only problem with that was all of his cycles were RNG. So runs of the game used to be getting up to this final boss, and you'd be in good shape to get a personal best, and then you just get a bad pattern with the boss and lose minutes. It was a bad situation. They picked up on it really quick. The dev community for this game is amazing, and so they had that patched pretty quickly, and yeah, and so now it's much more enjoyable. It's actually a platforming level with a lot of interesting things. The bouncing items there that you can bounce off of. And here's the boss as he originally existed. He runs away, and now he's just spinning after you and trying to run into you. It's a auto scroller of sorts, and it's a much better fit for the game.
Alright, that's time number 1.
Oh, cool.
From what I've seen, it was like a 23 something. It's like a sub 24 either way.
Yeah, it's gonna go on the in-game time, so for the official timing for the game. So
Right.
it's
It was
22:05.
RTA wise, it was sub 24.
Yeah, well done, GG Yote.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, that's really good. GG.
Yeah. 22 in a marathon race is very, very good.
Indeed. For anyone that's curious, I don't typically stop timer until the other runner is done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. So yeah, and you're on Dedew's screen. You're seeing this this intense climbing section again. He's going to go ahead. Oh God! All right, that was a great save. Oh,
I was so scared I was gonna die.
I was also scared. But you
Because
saved
you don't
that
have any
really
checkpoints there.
No, yeah. If you die during that climb, you have to go all the way back to the beginning. So that was a really good save. Well done, dude. And so yeah, we've got the final level coming up here, and you'll notice right off the bat these bouncing things. If you're not careful, they will fling you right into places you don't want to be. But he's got good control over it. That was a nice climb up the left side there. And then, yeah, we're just going to make it up here to the second part of the climb. And then that's going to be the auto-scroller portion with the boss. All you got to do is stay a little bit ahead of him. Oh, and he skips the elevator there. Fun fact, when this boss level was originally being shown off during, I guess, the alpha QA period, everybody skipped the elevator. And that was apparently something they didn't expect. So they had to patch it so that everything started, even if you skipped the elevator. So that was a fun experience. But yeah, just you kind of just move ahead of everything, make your way through, punch these orbs to get them out of the way. And in most of the cases, the radars here are nothing to worry about. You just kind of, the way that you hit it with the normal cycle, it works out pretty well. And so we're going to get a punch on the final boss, and that's going to be it for Dedew as well.
Yeah, GG Yote. I didn't practice too much, so I was kind of expecting to lose, but it's still a pretty good run.
Yeah,
I'm really happy about how it went. Like a 24 is like, what, 2.5 minutes over world record? That's not too bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a... Yeah, I started... From what I could see on the stream, I stopped the timer like way too late, but it was like a 26 something.
Yeah, no, those were both two very good runs. GG on the race, guys. You did great.
Indeed.
Yeah, you did great on commentary, man. Thank you.
Oh yeah,
commentary was awesome.
It was my pleasure.
Thank you for coming.
Yep. And don't forget that you still have those $5 you're able to.
Oh yeah.
Place. There should be the incentive link. Should be in the Discord or in the. There you go. There's again.
Oh okay.
I was going to say. Yep.
Cool. Let's see.
But yeah, while we're at it, if any of you guys are interested, we have a pretty decent sized Lightfall Discord. Discord.gg/Lightfall. So if any of you want to run this game, lots
You guys
of
would like to go ahead
people
and
over there.
link the. You guys want to link the Discord? You're more than welcome.
Yeah. Sorry, I probably should ask first.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Good.
I think I will put the incentive towards the octahedron bees, or is that already gone?
That's already the ones that are grayed out and stuff like that. Those are already
Gotcha.
done.
Okay,
Yeah, the ones that are in yellow are currently ones that are.
Okay, I'll do.
So right now we have.
I'll put it towards Harry Potter.
Okay,
The Gryffindor.
Gryffindor challenge. Okay.
Yep. Cool.
So we still need $25 to meet that one though. But if you guys would, if you guys would like to see that one, make sure to get your money in for that.
You guys can do it. I believe in you.
Help me out. I put my 5 towards it.
Yep. But we are. We're about, if I can do my math correctly, close. We're about.
We are approximately close.
We're approximately close. I can't because my brain's just kind of farting on 71. There's about $71 away.
Nice, dude.
So, like I said, even if we don't make our goals, don't feel like you guys' donations meant nothing. Your donations helped out a lot. This like I said, Go Rescue is a non-profit organization that's helping out homeless dogs, recover and find new homes. So every little bit helps. Like I said, we set up 500. We didn't really expect to have a kind of a small audience like we did this time, but we also kind of ended up getting stuck with like ESA having their times right when ours was, so there's not really much we could do about it. But at least I hope you guys have at least enjoyed it for the most part. Up next we have Dust by Rim, so we're gonna go ahead and see if he's ready and get.
Alright, I got stuff I have to do, so I will see you all later.